What is up, y'all? Welcome back. Today we should have a pretty short and simple one for you. It's a 9mm video. I know that's a pretty good deviation from what we normally shoot on this channel, but I have a personal firearm that I wanted to bring out and start testing. I have no shots through this firearm. This is an M&P Shield Plus 9mm, so it has a 10 plus 1 round or 10 round magazine, plus you can plus 1 round it. Then you have a 13 round magazine for a plus 1. So this little shield is an upgrade over the previous shield that I used to own. I used to own a really nice shield that had never failed me before. I gave it to a family member because they needed a firearm, at least for the time being. But this one right here is the Shield Plus. I figured I would give it a shot. I've kind of been interested, and you know, you're already dealing with 9mm, which in my opinion is not my favorite cartridge, but despite that, that's a whole different argument. We can get more capacity, so we might be able to make up for it. I mean, anymore, everybody says capacity is king, right? So let's put that to the test. The firearm, I'm not going to go over extensively. I'll give you my opinions about it because it's the turkey's opinion. I'm allowed to do that. But as far as the facts about the firearm, all the measurements, weights, all the specs, you can find that everywhere. This gun's been out for a long time, actually, so I'm not going to tell you anything that nobody else has already, or anybody else hasn't already told you, and I'll probably get a lot of it wrong. But what I will tell you is I do love the Shield. I've been picking on Smith & Wesson here and there, but then I give them credit when they deserve it. And with the Shield lineup, they usually, at least from the other Shields I've had, they really deserve a lot of credit. They've sold a whole lot of units. They've equipped a lot of people with a very reliable, nice to shoot, very accurate firearm. It can handle any ammunition, at least the 9mm version. The one that I had, I don't think it ever really choked on anything. If anything ever happened, it was because I put something really weird, like old half-corroded ammo, or maybe a reload that I knew wasn't going to work and I was just testing. But off of normal ammunition, never a failure through I don't know how many thousands of rounds, and all different kinds of defensive ammunition because we do testing with it all the time. So I'm assuming that this one is going to do just fine. We have range ammo out here today. We're not doing defensive ammo yet. I'm going to put a pretty good amount of range ammo, and I have 5 different choices. I don't have 147 grain. I don't have anything that's really heavy, but I have 115 and 124. 5 different choices, like I said. I have both magazines that came with the gun. You want to make sure both of your magazines run if you have a defensive firearm. I'm going to shoot steel. I'm going to shoot paper. I'll give you my thoughts. And again, it's just reliability and some accuracy, but reliability is what I care about the most. They've changed the way the magazines work. They are a staggered stack going up to a single stack. Could be a double stack, but I pretty much think it's staggered. They have windows in them. They're not bad. Shields are reliable, so I'm assuming they couldn't have screwed this up too bad. I'm really hoping, crossing my fingers, that this will be a good one. Let's start shooting. First up is going to be Fiocchi Range Dynamics, 124 grain, going at 1150 feet per second on the box. Maybe not that fast out of this short little barrel. We'll test things like that later with it. But for now, this is just a brass washed looking bullet, and we'll see if this functions. If we do have a light primer strike, I will say that I have had light primer strikes with this ammunition with other firearms, so we won't blame that on the gun. If we get that, it'll just be confirmation that it is the ammo. But let's see how this rings the steel. All right, we're 21 feet off the target. We have 13 rounds in the magazine. We have the +1 in the gun already, and I will just say that with the +1, you are dealing with a pretty good push to get that magazine seated. It's not anything you can't do, but just so you know, we'll see if the slide overcomes that. I will say that I did properly clean and lubricate these firearms. Well, there's actually multiples that we're going to be testing. So yeah, these firearms, this being one of them, and Smith & Wesson's come out of the box usually ready to shoot, but just to make sure there was no excuses, we did that. And like always, I almost forgot my second set of ears, but let's go ahead and try this out. We have 3-dot white sights. As opposed to the other shields, we do have a different trigger, so I'm looking forward to seeing if that's decent or not. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to shoot. I'll speed it up on camera, though, so it's not torture. We do have a safety, and I should take that off. Right where it needs to go, and yeah, we had a... Darn it, come on, Smith & Wesson, Jesus Christmas. The magazine is fully seated, so we're going to go ahead and do it in a safe direction. We will do a tap, a rack, so that gets that out of there. Let it go. If you want to go ahead and do an extra bump to the back, you can, but I don't really think that would be necessary. It's just part of your routine. So that would be the malfunction clear for a gun like that. Tap, rack, let it go, and hopefully, pow, pretty much in the same spot, and that one actually landed where it should. Now, like I said, remember, that had a lot of tension to overcome. That was a really hard rack, I'm sure. for that +1. So it might be a gun that needs downloaded. We'll see if it breaks in. Those are stacking right on each other. Kind of a free fall. I might have had the palm of my hand in the way of that. All right, at random, let's take a look. All right, I might have got sloppy with a couple of my shots here, coming down here, but after my reload, I smacked right in the center. So after major gun handling skills, I somehow got my stuff back together, even with the shorter little grip that my pinky definitely falls off of. Well, I'm not even going to say that. I can't say that word. With a magazine that is a more than flush fit here, or nah, I can't say it. What do you say? These rules on YouTube. The one that fits my pinky. So that one fits pretty nice. But yeah, I did string down here a little bit. I'll try to tighten that up on the next round. Let's change ammos. All right, now we have something from Buffalo, well, the Buffalo Cartridge Company, Adrenaline Precision Series. So this should be pretty nice, right? 115 grain full metal jacket. Looks like another brass washed projectile. Let's see how she flies. All right, again, 21 feet. Nothing has changed except for the ammunition. That seems to shoot a lot softer, but it did hit the right place. It went ahead and cycled. We didn't have a problem. I'll go ahead and talk about the trigger now. I'm going to have camera guy come in to the side. All right, I'm going to be one-handed shooting, but we have a little bit of take up here. So the take up goes to, well, there's a little bit of take up there. Then there's extra take up. Now we're on a wall. So take up just a tiny fraction, wall. Kind of a decent squish through the wall. And then reset. Right. Nope, that wasn't a full reset. So it kind of pushes your finger. That trigger pushes your finger out to right there. And then we're going to go ahead and let it go to a reset right there. I felt it. All right, there we go. I'm going to let it reset again. So half reset, real reset. And then it does break cleanly again after that. So all the way out, take up, a little bit more take up, bang, over the wall, reset, rest of the reset, shoot, all the way out, take up, over the wall, reset, the rest of the reset, shoot. There you go. All right, let's take a look. All right, when I had two hands on the gun, everything went where it should. This was me one-handed shooting, basically showing you the trigger. With the other magazine, I'm going to speed up a little bit, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm just interested to see how that trigger works under speed for me. Not bad. Let's look. So I pushed a few more out, man, maybe 4 more out than they were supposed to be in the center, but we landed 3 in, 4 a little bit out of my red, but all within definite acceptable zone for defensive uses. And I'll point out something about factory ammunition here. We have some Federal American Eagle, but as I'm loading, notice a different color primer. So we have the nickel-plated primer or colored primer, and then the brass-plated primer in the same thing. So that's kind of a weird mix-up. You don't see that very often, but that just shows you this is not exactly what you call precise or match ammunition. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't think this is match ammunition. All right, like I said, this is Federal American Eagle, 115 grain, and that has a copper bullet to it. I should say that properly. The full metal jacket of the copper style or possibly copper washed. Anyway, right there where it needs to be. And I just felt a weird little something happen in the spring. I just want to point that out in that magazine. I felt something really weird just happen in my pinky after I shot the firearm. Something kind of went boing in that magazine, and I just hope that's not a bad sign, but it feels weird. I never felt that before. That was an absolute hole in the hole. Let's go take a look. All right, I tried to do a little bit better shooting for you. We kept them all in there except for that one that you might not be able to see because of the shadow, but it's right there. Let's switch ammos again. All right, this ammo option will be Blazer Brass, and this is the 124 grain loaded up right now. After that, we'll load up the 115. I figure I'll show them both to you right now. They're both going to look the same. They are a Full Metal Jacket copper or copper washed. All right, I'm going to start with a 10 rounder. I have the +1 in there. I just want to switch it up a little bit. Camera guy, why don't you give me an up? Let's have fun. Up. All right, let's go take a look. So at speed, you see my shooting skill starting to fall apart, but still possible. Let's do the next one with some headshots. And let's do them one-handed. Oh, I missed one. Slow down. Got that one. All right, I'm shooting to the left, so I gotta increase my support. Still shooting to the left. Oh, missed. Missed. All right, let's take a look. Always practice your one-handed shooting, guys. I went left on all of them, and I went left enough to miss on 3 of them. All right, here's the 115 Blazer. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker and a little bit steadier. Camera guy, give me an up. Up. I might have actually missed one of those. I'm not sure, but let's go take a look. I put a stronger grip on this little gun, and it seemed to tighten the group up a little bit, even though I am drifting to the left a little bit. That's not the gun, in my opinion. I don't think. I'll have to check the front sights. It's probably just the shooter. It's usually the shooter. Let's move on to headshots again. And this time I'm going to challenge myself even more by using my left hand. It's something everybody should do. It took me a lot more time, but I hit it right where it needed to go. Oh, I missed one. I almost had it. Let's take a look. And we did a lot of stuff up here in the forehead region. Yeah, pretty much bridge of nose region. But it's all good stuff right there. For left-handed shooting, not bad. I'm telling you guys, try it. All right, next real quick phase of testing. I'm going to go ahead and shoot at this target, this big target that's on the ground. And that's for safety, because I'm going to shoot this gun as absolutely fast as I can pull the trigger, at least what I'm used to right now here with this gun. I have this loaded up with 13 plus 1. So the first 14 are going to be the Fiocchi. After that, we've gone in a rotation of 2 of everything. I guess the first 6 will be Fiocchi. After that, it's 2, 2, 2, and 2 of all the ammunitions we just tried in that magazine. Then I have the 10-round magazine loaded up with 10 more Fiocchis. I'm going to shoot as fast as I can. If the gun jams, it does. If it doesn't, great. All right, I'm just going to start ripping on the trigger. I'm sure people are faster, but not bad for that one. It made it. Let's see with this 10-rounder, and it didn't choke on the Fiocchi with that first mag. Oh, let me point something out. I think this thing inertial loads, but let's see. Yep, it does. Brand new gun, inertial loads. Take it for what you want. All right, it ran them. That's a good sign. All right, one more test for me in this gun today, and that will be limp wrist testing. I test all my firearms to see if they will limp wrist test. So it didn't load on that one, but if you give it a little bit harder, smack, it will. All right, so limp wrist testing consists of getting a progressively weaker grip on the gun to make sure it will still fire in case we don't have a perfect grip on the gun. I don't want to hear that crap about perfect training makes this and that. Sometimes you just don't get a good grip and you need your gun to go off. So an example of a not perfect grip would be not getting a high master grip into this backstrap. You might get a little bit lower. That could create a leveraged limp wristing situation. Or in general, if you just don't have a lot of hand strength. And that comes into play with these small guns because these small guns are a little jumpy. So I'm going to put it pretty relaxed. I'm going to go ahead and keep this finger out of it, and you'll see me drop the other ones. I'll go pretty relaxed for the first one. Yep. I thought I had one in there. Now the hammer, I thought I felt the hammer fall. That could be a Fiocchi screw up right there. Let's leave it in there for a minute. Or not the hammer, but the striker. Let's leave that in there for a second. And let's check this round out. Yep, that is a Fiocchi. I'll go ahead and load it in there. It'll be the second round, and we'll see if it fires. Let me set the gun down to be safe. So, very light grip. And it cycled. Now let's see if this one actually fires. All right, it fired on the second shot. Now you're going to see, I'm going to do it with this hand so you definitely see it. I got barely any grip on this gun at all. Ow, that hurts the wrist because it puts so much torque here. You want the grip to be tight so that the slide reciprocates. But with that loose grip, my God, do they rock. Ow, God, that is painful. Trying to do this for you guys. It works. It fired all 5. It passes Limp wrist test, at least preliminarily. All right, there you go. There's the information. Use it as you see fit. Me personally, I will give Smith & Wesson an A+ on this so far. That initial hiccup is nothing. I mean, that's the first round of actually some problematic ammunition. So I wouldn't even trust that ammunition to be in spec, that Theturkey stuff, because the primers are junk. So with that said, the gun handles like a compact 9mm. It's not super easy to shoot. Shooting a compact 9mm is like shooting a full-size 40, maybe even a 10mm sometimes when you limp wrist it. That thing stings you. But I really like the shields. I've always trusted them. I've never seen a reason not to. They're good, compact guns, easy to carry. So for all the crap I give Smith & Wesson, I do admit when they make a good product, this one's awesome. I would always trust this one. I do recommend this to people as a good, deep concealment gun. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you found it helpful and hope to see you at the next video. Until then, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.